Jesus.
So obviously, like, there's different ways of disciplining children. Who would say that there are 4 physical punishments, so like hitting, and who would say
we're all against until we actually have
who's
children.
for it?
I was like, yeah, I'll never beat my child. No.
And who's against it? Okay, you guys start. Like, why are you guys against it?
Because, one, I'm not a violent person.
Okay.
My immediate reaction to anger is not to hit you. Unless I really feel threatened. But my kids, unless you try to kill me, then we can go to blows. But for me is to punish you. I think I don't need to touch you. I think I don't want to introduce that sort of punishment to my child. And I wouldn't, and I think a lot of times for me, it's, do parents know whether they're hitting their child because the child generally needs to learn this lesson via hitting, or the parents are expressing anger? And I think in the moment, a lot of parents don't know that. And a lot of parents, they get it so crossed. So now your child is
a punching bag.
Is a punching bag. And now if a child goes to school and hits someone, you start, why are you hitting? But their first lesson is, if someone does wrong and you want to correct them, you hit them. And I personally don't want that lesson to be passed on. I think for me is, if a better way is to talk to your child, or other forms of punishments where it's a restriction, and if your child, you've done all of that and your child does not do anything, odds are hitting your child ain't gonna do shit. Your child has bad vibes. That's it.
So you have to leave them.
Just leave them to destroy their lives. Just leave them to destroy their lives. Because at that point, I wash my hands because you're clearly demonic. A child will, because hitting is pain, and pain goes. And in as much as when I got hit as a kid, it's because I just don't like pain in it. So I was like, I don't want this. I mean, so it worked on me, the hitting. But my mom stopped hitting me really and truly when I was almost 13, because my mom, I guess an old shot. You can't keep hitting me. Do you know what I mean? And it gets to a point, realistically, your child's gonna be what? Like, how long would you hit them for? For me, it just doesn't make sense to hit a kid. You're fragile, and I don't want you to just touch you. I don't want to touch my children.
Sorry.
I think when it comes to hitting children, my parents hit me growing up. You're instilling this value that when someone does something that you don't agree with, the correct response, if you feel like you're a figure of authority above them, is to hit them. So you've rationalized in your head that a form of aggression is going to get your point across. I think a lot of times parents were hitting kids because they were telling the kids to do something, we weren't listening, and you got angry that your form of parenting isn't working. So instead of you going back and thinking, maybe I need to look at how my child operates. Yeah. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't really make sense to them. You're starting to hit me. What kind of savage behaviour is that? I totally do not mess with it. I think the last time my parents hit me, I was like in year 8. And the last time it happened, my dad was whacking me and I was standing there like this. And I said, are you done? Because in my head, it was... So when you finished, I was like, when you're ready to have because I was like, when you're ready to have a conversation, when you're ready to have a conversation, let's talk. What is it that I did that made you annoyed? Let me tell you how I feel. Then let's make a solution right here. Because when you make a solution together, I now don't want to disrespect you. Because we had a conversation and you understood me at a level. You shouting at me, you throwing things at me, you're taking all different sorts of weapon. As if you're an Avenger. And
one gladiator. Why you?
It makes no sense. You're behaving like a criminal. You're just attacking me anyhow. And all I learned from that is, that's when you learn to be sneaky. You learn to be sneaky way more. Because you don't understand why it is what you're doing wrong. You just know that there's going to be a punishment, not why there's a punishment. The why lacks when it comes to corporal punishment, and that's the problem. That's why you don't hit kids.
But so I'm 4. Do you believe that it's possible to have a combination of both? To have a combination of because even in life, there's consequences for things that you do. I'm not saying, obviously, there's corporal punishment all over the world, but there's consequences. And there's also an open line of communication. So for me, I can actually count the times that I got beaten as a child on one hand. My parents didn't really beat me. My parents didn't really beat all of us. No, well, I think the person that
you've listened.
Interesting. I think one thing that my parents were really good at when we were young is they were good at identifying what child needed what.
Yeah.
So like my sister, the one after me, she's probably the most stubborn of all of us. Now she got beaten a lot, but I didn't do nothing. There's a story my dad always tells us about how we were sat on the table and my dad was trying to get her to eat and he was smacking her. She didn't eat her food. She was looking at him like this. So for them or for my parents, it's like, okay, beating is not going to work on this child. There's another form of discipline we can use. But I think that it's about identifying what actually works for a child, and I don't think that hitting a child, and when I talk about beating a child, I think we also have a very like violent view or perspective of it's like you know, like we were kind of saying earlier on, it's not, first of all, it's not exclusive to black people or African people. It's universal. White people beat their children.
They box them.
Some of them even more violent than we do. Like, I feel like, you know, as a young child, a little slap on the hand, on the bum. Yeah. I don't feel like it's crazy. But I feel like if you're combining, I feel like that needs to be combined, because one of the things that is an issue with us is that we received it. And it was just something we received. There was no there was no communication about it afterwards. If I'm hitting a child and once the child has calmed down, they're done crying, I sit down with them and say, okay,
and talk to them.
Do you realise what you did?
Yeah.
But you know, I feel like you do it because the child can't hit you back. Now, if you as an adult, like let's take that as a form of correction and punishment. You as an adult, you did something wrong and someone smacks your hand.
Imagine you're at work.
You ain't no way in hell the person can do it because they know I can slap you back.
But that's the same with all punishments though.
Yeah.
So if I say you're not going to pay your PlayStation, you can't do that to your mum. You can't say, Mum, no TV.
No.
Like, everything is going to be one-sided.
I'm talking about in terms of now smacking. If it doesn't matter if it's still some sort of physical contact you feel you've got to do to correct. Me restricting stuff from you, again, is law. Again, if you do a crime, your freedom is restricted. It's that way. It's like you have to fight for something you have to do, but under no means is someone meant to touch you without consent of your body. To me, that's it. If I'm teaching my child body autonomy, there's no way now I can turn and just smack you when I want. I can't do that
because they did something that you don't like.
I don't like, and I can't do that.
Yeah, but it's not about something that you don't like. Like when a child has done something that is very evidently wrong to
you.
Let's not even talk about to me. Okay, for example, my child is doing a madness in school. They come home. Let's talk about it. Kind of scenario, you know, something's happened.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I feel like sometimes as kids, the times when we actually did get beaten when I was young was actually when we did something to either harm ourselves or people around us. I remember, I remember my brother. I remember my brother almost burning down the house when we were younger. He went into
that's bad vibes.
Literally, we were all in the living room. We were watching TV. Everyone was chilling.
He's like, take your with you. He's like, y'all hit me too much.
He walked out the living room. Everyone, it was quiet. He walked out the living room, went into my bedroom, and he lit a match. And you know when you,
he was like, to take her down, I'm taking everybody with me.
The fire is just kind of running down. So I feel like he didn't realise the fire is running down, and it burnt his finger. So he just dropped the matchstick. So he dropped it, and I think he just left. He just left the room and came into the living room as though nothing happened. Honestly, it was literally God, because my sister came out of, I think my mum needed something from downstairs. So she asked my sister to go and call the nanny. So it was literally my sister coming out of the living room and seeing smoke coming out of the bedroom that alerted us to the fact that my room was on fire. If she did not see that, nobody would have known what had happened in that room, and only God knows what would have happened to all of us. And my mum's response to that,
we had to stop that boy. Mad. So we dialoguing with each other, thrown match, a lit match.
Said somebody said it well. Oh, let me talk to you about the journey to the well.
You know your sister could have died.
How? What does that mean?
Was
to smack him.
So she did smack him, but for me, like he had endangered not only himself, but basically the entire house.
With me,
You know, in that moment, he was frightened. In that moment, he was petrified.
That's what, it's
all of these emotions.
I'm
are
getting
running
beaten,
through him.
bruv.
He's afraid that he's nearly harmed his family. He's afraid. He knows he's done something wrong.
No. What you're saying,
okay,
I'm saying, if you almost kill your family, you should be beaten. Like with me, I understand what you're saying, and I fully get it. Like I was beaten as a child, and for me, I was a good child. But the only discipline that was effective was beating.
Yeah.
Me and my mum were very, very close. I told you I was very working class. I wasn't that attached to material stuff because I didn't have that great material stuff. You can't tell me you can't use this. I wasn't using it that much anyway. You can't go here. I wanted to spend more time with my mum anyway. Like, it's beating that works for me. It was like that was my mum asserting her authority that we're really close and all of that, but you cross this line and I'm beating you. And it will never be a thing that I don't know what I've done. I was sometimes really stupid. I would cut my hair. I would say this person did it. I would tell lies all the time when I was little. That was like my main thing for being beaten. And I would know I told a lie. I'll know I'm found out. My mum would beat me. And it was something where I just knew what happened. Like, I did this and now I'm being beaten for it. And I didn't like it. And that's the essence of a punishment. She never went ham. She never boxed me. I never had a black eye.
Exactly.
She never pushed me down the stairs. Like, it wasn't a thing where I think back and I shudder, but it was something that I was afraid of, and it was really effective. And it was an effective deterrent. It was an effective punishment. And I think that it's applicable. Like you're saying, you need to know the child.
Yeah.
So if I had maybe a sibling that was more materialistic, it might have been more effective if you took away something from that
it
child.
doesn't have to be material. You just said that you were really close to your mum.
Yeah.
One thing my mum did when she stopped beating me was she knew how much I liked to talk to her. She'd be like, I'm not talking to you. So I'm gonna go back and be like, why is
she
she
could have restricted herself.
Okay, but I
thought that would
She
have
did that sometimes, and I would
even
do that. Like, me and my mum, we would battle like sisters, kind of, almost. The only way, like the main effective way that you can assert authority was physical, because she was my mum. She was much bigger than me. I couldn't retaliate.
You went through it.
I feel like
you didn't go through it. You wouldn't think it's normal.
But you guys are painting it like this massive violence.
I know. Anything.
Blows, it shouldn't be.
I think what you're saying is applicable to every punishment. Every punishment can be taken to an abusive level.
To say just what you've described. What you've just described about giving silent treatment. Now, for me, if my parents did that to me, I feel like that would have affected me.
That could have been more damaging for her.
Yes, that was because I'm in a
cater the punishment.
That's
what
I'm going to talk about, obviously I'm Zimbabwean, I'm going to talk about in my community, a lot of parents didn't really know their children like that. Because you'd go home, you'd go to night shift, you come home, see your children, give them food, you go to bed. You don't know your children. So when something goes wrong, the only thing you know is, fuck it.
I do think a lot of times we are speaking because now looking back, it's like, okay, this works for me, blah, blah, blah. But I do think this new generation is a thing of like, we now know other types of punishments to give
But
us.
my mum tried other types of punishments, and the most effective and least
agree.
damaging, like long lasting, was that silent treatment would have broken me when I was a little girl.
Same.
Like, it was more, to me,
no, I'm not even
that is more
but it
damaging.
would have damaged me as a little girl.
For me personally, when my parents stopped, like my parents sometimes would go ham. Like me, like boxing shit. Like it was a bit mazine. Like and it was for punishments where so it would be a thing of like they've told me something over and over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm not listening. Do you know what I mean? And they'll smack me. Or things like I ran up the phone bill to like $1,000.
Wow. They should have. I can't lie. That one you're asking for.
I was calling those text numbers, bruv, to win something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to win something.
At least you tell me you won something.
Like, no, but I do you know, I never won anything here. So I envy you took my money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm buying credits to play a game. But for me personally, I think for me is I can't. Maybe it's because of who I am. I am not a violent person unless I feel like I've got to protect myself. The only time I've ever really been violent towards someone is my little sister. That, like, it was, fam. She took me, whoa, I was like, yo, like, I punched in the chest. I don't punch people. I punched it in the chest. Till today, she's like, I can't believe you punched me in the chest. I'm like, well, I couldn't believe you have to take me to a point of no return. I don't think my child can do that because when my sister back talks bare.
They're saying that silent treatment is better, but it's the same thing. It's actually
Silent treatment is
yes,
not
it's
better.
emotional abuse. It's the same thing.
I think to talk to the child, let them know that the behaviour is wrong, the consequences of the behaviour, maybe deprive them of something like...
Take their privileges.
Yeah,
I always say, even with men.
Yeah.
Seriously, you know that thing where you're available for him to talk with and everything. Just say, you know what, you've hurt me. I don't want to have to do that thing with you now, so just leave me alone for a season. Men they have the same reaction children have when you take away their privileges. It's the privilege of my company. I said, I will take away. That's all I can take away. The privilege of my company is a privilege.
Yeah, I feel like when you talk about hitting kids, you're speaking of it as violence born from anger. With my mum, it was more calculated. It wasn't that she's taking out her anger on me. It's that, are you okay? Why did you do this thing? And she will slap me or something. I get and that. I won't be feeling like she's giving me the best of 5.
But any violence, any physical contact coming from a place of annoyance to me, it sucks. Yeah, it's just void. Any place of irritation, annoyance, whether you're just a little bit pissed off, whether you just it's void. It's because if you were in a calm, rational manner, you ain't hitting no one. And realistically, and I feel like parents do it. I just feel parents do it is because the child cannot retaliate. The child, unless because my question is, why do parents stop when the kid is able to retaliate?
Because you see that it's more effective to speak to them. So when I was younger, my communication skills were not A1. By the time I turned to 12, 13, why are you hitting me when you can tell me don't do that again?
Yeah,
I can understand you.
I think it's about from the beginning. I think. Be my last point. From the beginning, as a parent, you need to cater how you communicate, how you discipline, how you feed your child according to the person you are. You know, you hear young mums know from when their child is a baby that, oh, she doesn't like this, she responds to this, she likes it when her dad does this, because they know what type of person you are. You know what's going to make them reflect, you know what's going to make them go back and think. Lazy parenting is just hitting your kids because you thought, you know what,
and always is, and my issue is always the first response is, and that's where I feel like it is lazy. It's always your first response.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't experienced it as a first response. I've experienced it as a last resort. Like it's a last resort. That's my experience of it. And that's why I'm not against it. I've experienced it as a last resort, as in just like show me. I've been told, yo, don't do that thing, and then I've gone and done it knowing fully well that it's bad to do it.
That's not last resort to me. That's not last resort to me. That just means the first way it was communicated to you was not effective. For me, a last resort is like, if I say don't do something, you did it. I'm not gonna hit you.
No, I'm when I say I've done something or I've been repeatedly told. It's not as if this is the first or second or third time.
You don't need to be told. Maybe it's how it's told to you. Maybe it's the different actions. Punishments are different. Conveying a message is different. We're different learners. Some people learn by seeing, by hearing,
but
by
just
touching.
Just based on what you've said, that I feel like that still applies. I think Show Me has given an example. People are different and people respond. So like now, my sister after me, I know that beating was not the thing that worked for her because she was stubborn. Whether you beat her, didn't beat her.
But don't you think it's scary that someone responds to violence? Like, don't you think because even if it's a smack, that's still violence. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the degree.
And they said, "Oh, I wanted to play with Sade, and Sade said she didn't want to play with me. She doesn't like me. And she punched me in the face. You're up in arms."
It's
that's different context as well. Yeah, if Sade buffed my child, I wouldn't like it either. Do you know what I mean? There's something that only a parent can do. And so no one else should do it, whether that's disciplining or whether it's personal care.
But I do.
No one else should hit my kids.
Teaching them that people in positions of power can abuse their authority just to get their message across.
No teacher could beat me. No one else could beat me. I never learned that lesson. I learned that my mum can beat me, and that no one else. My auntie couldn't beat me. My stepdad couldn't beat me.
Just my parents.
And that's like it was very clear.
Does it not distort the position of authority in your eyes?
No, it doesn't. But it was because I feel like no, for me it doesn't. I feel like we're looking at this very like it's closed, because just like what you mentioned earlier on, we can still say that about that silent treatment. If we're talking about the dynamic of a romantic relationship, people will tell you that silent treatment is emotionally manipulative,
which is why
so people don't. So if you're saying that parents should use that as a punishment, surely we can say that.
I don't think
surely we can say the same thing. Okay, but beating can also work for some children. Like if we're going by that,
I think
beating can work for some children as well.
Beating can work for some kids. My issue is, it's scary that it does. That's my problem. Violence, any sort of violence, working for someone, to me, is scary.
I feel like every punishment can be taken to an abuse.
I'm not talking about the environment. I'm talking about whether it's I got to smack your bum, whether I got to smack your hand, but I don't want to touch you without your consent. So I'm trying to get you to a place where
your other punishments you're gonna assert them without a consent.
No, but I'm trying to get you a place where I, as a person, can communicate something to you,
but every punishment you're gonna use it without their consent.
But consent in terms of like, it's whether you heed to or not.
And every punishment that you use is gonna be emotional pain. It's gonna be some kind of pain.
It's not.
Pain and discipline are not mutually exclusive.
They're not.
Every discipline. If you say you can't use your PlayStation, you're gonna hurt your child emotionally. No, but if you say you can't go to your friend's place, your child is gonna be hurt emotionally.
You can teach someone the right thing without hurting their feelings.
So are you guys not gonna use any form of punishment? Just positive reassurance?
I will tell you, got bad vibes, bro. You got bad vibes.
You got bad vibes.
You got bad vibes. What is this?
I'll throw them outside because they have bad vibes.
So you're hurting your child if you throw them outside.
Listen, no, sort out the bad vibes. Come back inside.
Sort out the bad vibes.
So you're
for me, I'm not. It's not the pain. It's not the pain element. My thing is, if I'm teaching my child autonomy of self and your body, I cannot violate that by hitting you.
I can understand.
Personally,
that.
for me, I cannot.
I cannot
then
but
turn
you
around.
would still violate it on some level. Every punishment is without. But
it's not. No, because I'm telling you.
You can tell them and beat them.
I know. I don't feel like I need to touch you. I personally, I don't feel like I can't see my kid. No one in this world should ever lay their hands on you. Bam! What? To me, it's a contradiction for me personally.
But for me, no one can hit me. I know my mum hit me, but no one. Like I knew that was something exclusive to my mum. It was nothing that.
Oh no, yeah,
the one can't hit me. Everyone else that have ever tried to hit me, I report them to my mum.
Basically,
it can be. I think my closing point is, I don't want to get to a place where my like hitting my kid becomes a thing that that they're accustomed to is what you listen. You need to be able to learn how to take heed of instructions and listen to instructions without someone having to take you or having to go to a place of where they physically have to touch you. So whether it's a thing of like at work, you do something wrong, something will be restricted. At school, you do something wrong, something restricted. I'm not going to tell you that nothing in life will ever not be restricted for you, but I'm going to tell you you have to follow rules in accordance to avoid it.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like every punishment facilitates that child learning. So I'm
not disagreeing that hitting your child does not work. I'm not disagreeing that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is hitting your child should never ever be a case. You should never ever really have to be able to touch your kid.
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, that is what I want, where I don't need to touch you, I don't need to smack you. I just want to be able to tell you that this is wrong, and this is why you're going to either have a timeout or why you're not going to go to the party. And this is why I'm very upset.
Yeah, for some
children, I'm upset at
you. Mad.
My mum made me sweep the kitchen with a toothpick.
I would hate my mother.
Bro, do you know? No, I wasn't even angry. I was angry because in my head, this shit don't make no sense. So I was very upset. I said, nah, I'll never do this again because I don't want to be sweeping the kitchen for toothpick, mum. She didn't give me a packer. She just gave me a toothpick and here's a tissue. So that works for me. So that worked. I was just very pissed off.
Let's just move on because. I might implement that. That's actually a very
try
good,
it.
Okay,
that's what I'm going to do with my kid. I'm going to give you a scissors and tell you to go cut the grass.
Sometimes I preferred beating to certain things. So I hated having to lift up my hands and face the wall. That was like to me, that's child abuse. I'm going to tell my mum now.
Raise your hands.
you just feel stupid.
Yeah,
do you know how silly you feel with your hands just up there?
But you don't have to.
And then it's a physical thing as well.
Yeah,
at first, you're feeling your pride, your ego is hurt,
what? And then suddenly the hands start shaking because it's painful. You can't have them up.
And then you lean it on the wall like, move your hand, and you're like, oh my god, like smack me please.
And just get me done with this.
Let me collect how many.
I used to wish my dad would just smack me because when he would tell me off, that talk for 15 minutes.
You feel it here.
I just think, just beat me now.